So I already know there's going to be a bunch of clowns in here who's going to come in here and click on my video just because of the title, not even watch the video and leave some comments, right? Negative comments, whatever they feel like saying at that moment. It happened plenty of times, we know that. Just so they can be heard. And hey, I welcome each and every single one of those people. Why? Because you're helping my channel out by commenting and helping the algorithm pick up my videos and put it in front of men who actually need this information. And this video might run a little bit longer, fellas, but all the things I'll be talking about are extremely important, so bear with me. First of all, I want to share a little bit of my personal life story with you guys. My mother got diagnosed last year with stage 4 breast cancer, metastatic breast cancer. Now, if you guys don't know what that is, it is a extended version of breast cancer that's below a stage 4. She had breast cancer. She was diagnosed with breast cancer 10 years ago. I think it was either stage 2 or 3, I can't remember. She went through chemo and radiation and all the rest of it, and then it came back. But when breast cancer comes back, it usually spreads in other parts of your body, and that's what they call stage 4, also known as metastatic breast cancer. And it's actually a lot more deadly than irregular time, the first time breast cancer. She was diagnosed with it last year, and since last year till now, it's been really hard for her. You know, it's been really hard for all of us. It's been a very hard pill to swallow for all of us, especially for me, that her chances of surviving this is actually pretty low. And I don't think she actually accepted that yet, but that's another story. I'm not here to talk about my mom's whole life story, even though that's very relevant to what I'm about to be talking about. Now, why did my mom get cancer in the first place? Because of stress. That was the number one thing. A lot of you guys know that I grew up with a single mother. My dad left me and my mom when I was either 2 or 1 years old, I can't remember. He left her and I went to another country where the living standards were better, found another woman there and cheated on my mom, married her first of all for the papers, but then he was stupid enough to get babies with her, and that's where he was trapped. So now he's stuck paying child support to his second wife. And then he divorced her eventually and got married again and moved on. But he's still stuck paying child support, so that's another reason why I tell you guys, don't have babies with random people. So when that happened and my mom figured that out, it was so devastating for her that she almost went psycho and went on a couple different times of ending herself. Like, she went on a couple different paths, and a couple different times she went on. We found her in places that she shouldn't have been in, where she was about to end herself from that heartbreak by my dad. You can call my dad an a-hole and this, that, and the other, but again, that's another conversation. And then that's where it first started. The unevenness of growth, the uneven growth of cancer started back then in her body from all the stress and all that heartache that she was going through. 10 years later, we found it in her for the first time. And ever since then, ever since my dad left her, my mom raised me by herself, so you guys can already imagine that a lot of the financial burden also fell on her shoulders. So not only that she had to deal with the heartbreak, she also was dealing with the financial trouble. And that went on even after she got treated for cancer the first time, which is why her cancer the second time came back. Because even after she was cured, quote unquote cured, right? Because for those of you guys who have cancers, or for those of you guys who know about cancer, you know that this is something that never gets cured. You always have to go through testing and checkups to make sure it doesn't come back. So even after she was done with chemo and radiation the first time, she was still trying to provide for her and I, because I was still underage at that time. I was still a little boy. And all that stress built up, and it came back to her the second time. What do we see in this story, fellas, that caused all of this from the very beginning? Is my dad leaving her. Correct? Correct. Now, what do we always talk about in this channel? About the modern woman. That sure, she can get her degree, her education, her 9-to-5 job, her pencil pushing job, but at the end of the day, they all want a guy who makes more money than them. They all want a guy who stays with them. Now, my mother was raised right. She didn't have these whole tendencies as much as most of your modern women do. So I can guarantee you that if my dad didn't do what he did, they still would have been somewhat together. Another big reason why my mother was so devastated after my father left her is because my father showed to my mom that he has options, or he can get options easily. And what do we always talk about in this channel about competition with women? Women are very competitive. They want what they can't have. That's why pre-selection is such a big thing. If my mother had another man in her life, or my dad per se in her life, I highly doubt this would have happened. Any of us can start building cancer in ourselves, right? But it depends on what's triggering it. What is cancer? It's just the uneven growth of cells, of regular cells. Cells don't grow as much as, cells don't grow how they should be when you have cancer. They grow in a pattern which is not normal. That's really what cancer is. But anyway, so she didn't have that discipline, that rock in her life anymore after my father left her. That rock was gone. Nothing was there to hold her down anymore. Her whole life became chaotic and dramatic. She was going through ups and downs every single day, not knowing what to do. And now today, she's fighting for her life. Literally. So when I impose that question, do women need men to survive? This is a case. My mother's case is an example where it's happening literally. And her and the rest of her family is depending on me now. Why? Because I'm in a situation today where I can help. Who am I? I'm a man. I have discipline. I'm stoic. I'm not chaotic. I bring discipline to things. I bring the rock. I can bring the rock now. They don't even know what kind of food to eat. I have to be the one there to suggest the right type of food for them to eat, for my mom to eat. Because that's how chaotic her brain is. I don't blame her. All these things that she had to go through for her whole life, obviously, is gonna backfire. But it's also her fault. She's my mother, yes. I love her to death, but I have to shine that light on it, that it's her fault as well. She picked the wrong man. Again, we always talk about these things. She picked the wrong man. She picked the wrong man to have a baby with. Oh, Zeke, you wouldn't even be here if she didn't pick that man, if she didn't give birth to you. You're such an a-hole. How can you possibly talk like that about your mom? Is calling me an a-hole and all kind of other names gonna change the fact that she's fighting for her life today because of the decisions she made earlier in her life? No. So she's enduring the pain of the consequences of the decisions she made her entire life. And you ladies have to do the exact same. Another example I want to show to you guys is that the neighbor in my mom's house, wherever she lives, I'm going home now. I just was up there for a couple days to visit her. Now I'm going back home. Her neighbor, my mom's neighbor, has been single for the past 16 years. She didn't even mow her lawn for the past 16 years in her backyard. You guys can already imagine how big those lawns were. No, sorry, not the lawn, the tree branches. You guys can already imagine how big of a mess her backyard was. She finally found a guy on online dating, who lives in another state, came here to live with her. This is my neighbor I'm talking about. She even has a son. Oh, by the way, she was single because something happened with her ex-husband. Either divorced, separated, passed away, I don't know. And then, as soon as this guy moved in with her, her new boyfriend, the whole yard, the whole house was organized. We never even heard from her. We never even saw her face within the in this past 16 years, and she's been living right next door. Finally, the other day, she was sitting there talking to my mom in the backyard, acting like everything is fine in her life. What happened? She found that Brock, that guy, her new boyfriend, brought order in her life. Now let's talk about my cousins. I have 3 close cousins. Told you I'm going to get personal in this video a little bit. 2 of them are females, 1 of them is a male. The 2 female cousins, 1 of them is damn near 30, overweight as hell. But for somehow, she found a guy. I met the guy and I know how she found him, because this guy is as blue-pilled and beta as it can get. So that's why he picked up my cousin. My cousin, the 30-year-old one, is a female, and then a 25-year-old one, she's also a female, and then another one that's my age, the youngest one, which is the male. So I'm talking about the oldest cousin here. She hasn't even graduated from community college yet. And she's been going to community college for the past 8 years. She works at a call center. Makes a little over minimum wage. And as I said, she's already on medication for her weight. She has some other disorders because of her health, because how overweight she is. And she often cries and gets depressed. I think pretty sure she's on depression medication as well, where she tells herself, man, my life is a complete mess, this, that, and the other. And her boyfriend, the guy who she's living with, has to calm her down. I have seen this in first-hand experience. I've seen it with my own eyes. That's why I'm telling you. And I've heard it plenty of times before that. I didn't believe it till I saw it at a family gathering. But the second cousin, 25-year-old, she has been a community bicycle since she was in high school. Pretty much all the Chads and Tyrones in high school ran through her. She is a yoga instructor right now. She finally graduated from community college the other day after being in there for 5 years. Guys, remember, I graduated from, I'm younger than both of them. I graduated from community college in a year and a half. And my major was aerospace engineering. But anyways, and oh yeah, their major, the oldest one's major was communication. The second one's major was, what was it? Some liberal arts, I can't remember. Something frivolous, doesn't matter. Currently, she's living paycheck to paycheck. She's cooking meals for other people and getting paid. She's walking other people's dogs and getting paid. She was working at a bar for the longest time. She didn't even pay her taxes, right? I don't know how much money she made. She told me she made less than 600 or whatever, which is, you don't have to pay taxes anymore if you make less than 600 bucks. So if you make less than 600 bucks from a job that you claim to be a full-time job as a 24-year-old woman, grown-ass woman, what are you doing with your life? What do you see? In all the situations, my mom, my 2 cousins, chaos, and more chaos. It's just chaotic and dramatic lifestyle, right? At least the oldest one secured a guy. The middle one doesn't even have any guy in her life. The cousin I'm talking about. She's flying to Hawaii one weekend with one guy, going to England another month with another guy. Literally. She's Dubai Potter Potty type of a woman. That's how she is, but she's not as cute or high level of a chick to actually be flying to Dubai to spend time with the Dubai prince there, right? She's also gaining weight at her age. Now, why did I share all these stories with you guys? It's simple, fellas. Let's look at the modern woman now. She goes off to college for the first time without the supervision of her father. Let's talk about the chicks who are growing up with fathers, okay? Because the other ones who are growing up without fathers, they're in worse situations. So let's talk about these ideal women, or these women from this ideal family that come up, right? What happens to pretty much 99.9% of them when they go to college. They get ran through their first 2 years. They trash their bodies with alcohol. They end up getting the freshman 15. Do you know what the freshman 15 is? It's that extra 15 pounds you put on as your freshman year. Guys get it too, yeah, sure. But guys are not trashing their mind with as much clit as these chicks are with that much cock, right? And we also know that men can sleep around without having any kind of psychological damage. But the chances of a woman getting psychological damage from sleeping around is a lot higher. That's another discussion. I'm not going to get into that. So first time she's out of the male supervision, that rock is gone from her life. That order is gone. The discipline is not there. It becomes a complete chaos. She somehow manages to pass her liberal arts degree classes. Fellas, if I was in a liberal arts major in college, I would be partying every single night and still keep straight A's. I'm serious. So when these chicks are struggling in Algebra 1, in Stats, in Economy 101, this is comical, straight up comical. How are you barely passing and struggling with these classes? I'll be sleeping through class lecture and still make a 98, 99 on my tests. I'm serious. I kept a pretty damn good GPA for an aerospace engineering major when I was in college. And then, after that, they get their job, 9-to-5 job, they go to work. Again, there's no... See, you'll notice these working women, when they go to their job, they're at their best behavior. Why? Because there's male supervision there. They're working under a man. They're following a man's lead. So you don't see these women out of character at work. But as soon as they come out of work, as soon as they hit the club or hit the 5 p.m. wine time, and they're playing with their cats, or in the weekends going out with their girlfriends, you see their chaotic side come out. Why? Because they're not under that male supervision. And have you guys noticed more and more women are taking depression medication now? So their health is not in check either. And breast cancer, which is the #1 type of cancer in women, is also the #1 cancer in the West. More people are dying. I say people because some guys die from that too. Are dying from this type of cancer than any other type of cancer. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Please fact check me on that. I don't want to sound ignorant, but I'm pretty sure that's the truth. And who's the #1 gender to die from breast cancer? It's women. So that's why I started the video giving you guys an example of my mom's breast cancer issue. Women have estrogen a lot more than men do, and women have testosterone a lot less than men do. When you have estrogen in that much amount in your body, you can't handle stress. And that's another reason why so many women are being diagnosed with breast cancer and are dying from it every single year. I think it's like 40,000 or 41,000 a year women are dying every year. Just in the United States, I believe. So, when chaos is happening in your life, drama is happening in your life, you don't have a good sense of direction in your life, you don't have that rock in your life, that discipline, that stoicism, this is what happens to you. You literally struggle to survive. You're packed with diseases, you're packed with liver, kidney problems, you're packed with overweightness. Please someone explain to me how overweightness is good for your health. Someone please explain that to me. Please someone explain that to me, how going out every weekend or every other weekend and trashing your body with alcohol is good for your health. Someone please explain that to me. Please explain it to me how eating junk food instead of green vegetables, fruits, whole grains is good for your health. Someone please explain it to me. Explain it to me how eating box pizza and box food and canned food is good for your health instead of fresh food. from the grocery market where you go and shop every weekend for the whole week, and you meal prep. Explain any of that to me. I'm waiting. There's been a trend on TikTok that says end all men, or no, that says if all men were gone, or if we didn't have any men. That was the name of the song. And then some chick comes out and say, oh, I would be able to go to grocery shopping late at night without having the fear of being kidnapped and taken or whatever. Or they're saying that if men didn't exist. That was the caption for those TikTok videos. Look it up on TikTok. You'll see what I'm talking about. If men didn't exist, then I would wear this skimpy, slutty outfit to go out everywhere instead of covering myself up. If men didn't exist, sweetheart, first of all, you wouldn't have that TikTok to make that video. If we didn't exist, then you wouldn't even have that cell phone you're recording yourself on. So let's talk about that real quick, all right, before I end the video. If men didn't exist, what would have happened to the world? This world would fall apart within days, not even weeks, days. And within months, this world would disappear. Like that. Why? Because somebody somewhere in the world, it would start the nuclear war and would start nuking each other. Because it's being run by women. They're emotional. They can't make those smart decisions. Why? Because estrogen is running wild through their veins. Again, this is all scientific, not just my opinion. Scientific and experience. Science and experience. That's how I'm telling what I'm telling you guys right now. That's your modern woman you're seeing. You don't have a whole lot of things to show for, and on top of that, you would be in tons of debt. You are in tons of debt when you don't have that father supervision in your life. And when you're growing up without a father, man, you're a drug junkie. You have tongue piercings. We already know why you get those tongue piercings. You don't have to explain anything to us. We men aren't stupid. That's what happens. So I'm still gonna leave this question to you guys, all right? Because I still want to know how you view this topic, how you would answer if you were asked this question. That would women survive if men didn't exist, or do women need men to survive? All right. Now let's talk about the other side real quick. I know, again, I said we're gonna run a little bit late today. Do men need women to survive? No, we don't. Does the human race need women to survive? Yes, we do. Those are two different questions I asked. Yes, without any woman, we wouldn't be able to reproduce. The human race would go extinct eventually. But all the men in the world that we have today would be alive and would carry the world onto the last day that last man died in the world. We wouldn't need women to survive. We really wouldn't. We would, yeah, we have that drive to reproduce, but we can jack it off, right? We can rub one off. We have already created this world from ground up. So finding how to make food, finding how to do the jobs that women did wouldn't be that hard for us. We'd figure it out like that, overnight. Why? Because men adapt. Just like we have been adapting to this new era of dating. When we're seeing women are acting out of control, acting out of pocket, they're out of control. And now what are we doing? We're leveling up even more to adapt to that. We're not complaining, we're leveling up. Well, some men are, and they're gonna be left behind. That's okay. That's why men don't need women to survive. Again, let me know if I'm wrong about any of the things I'm saying here. With logic, leave that emotional garbage out at that door. We don't have room or time or space for that here. Debate me with your logic. I said that on a video on TikTok. Go check me out on TikTok at Zeekpeak. That blew up, and people still failed to show logic. That had over 100,000 views on my TikTok. But fellas, hope this video made sense. Follow me on Instagram at Zeekpeak. Like and subscribe. Until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and above all, stay classy.